I'd like to read you some of a piece written by Peter Tatchell in January of 2008 called Porn Can Be Good for You. Visit the site www.redpepper.org.uk if you'd like to check the whole thing out. Okay, from the top. While pornography can be dehumanizing and exploitative, it can also be educative, liberating, empowering, fulfilling, and immensely socially beneficial. It all depends on how it is made, who makes it, what it depicts, and why it is being used. The puritanical right-wing feminist claim that porn is always anti-women is simplistic, untrue, insensitive, uncaring, and, dare I say it, sometimes misogynistic and homophobic. Using sexually explicit imagery can be egalitarian, health-promoting, emotionally fulfilling, and life-saving. Critics say that porn is exploitative and degrading. Aren't most jobs? Are people working in the porn industry more exploited than those working in mind-numbing, routine, dead-end, low-paid employment? Most skin-flick actors get paid a damn sight better than the minions at McDonald's. Sexually explicit imagery that involves participants who have been coerced, pressured, manipulated, trafficked, or blackmailed into taking part is obviously wrong, as is imagery that involves children or actors who have been forced into non-consensual acts of violence or humiliation. These forms of porn include unwilling actors who have not given their free and informed consent and who suffer harm. This porn should be banned and criminalized. Now reading from a part headed Natural, Healthy and Lawful. Outlawing other visual depictions of sex, even very explicit depictions, is highly problematic and ethically dubious. After all, since consensual adult sex acts are entirely natural, healthy and lawful, why should images of these acts be criminal offences? Criminalizing such pornography is neither necessary nor justified. There are some grey areas that I feel uncomfortable about, such as porn videos produced by consenting participants which nevertheless show images of extreme sexual violence and degradation. But the censorship of these images involves inherent problems. How do you define degradation and who decides? While some porn is degrading, not all of it is. Do we believe that the state, and often elderly conservative judges, are the appropriate and reasonable arbiters of such matters? The main problem is that there is no agreed consensus on what constitutes a degrading, exploiting, or humiliating image. Opinions differ widely. Even if a definition could be generally agreed, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to set out in law and interpret uniformly in practice. Legislation in this area is likely to throw up more problems than solutions. In Canada, one of the first prosecutions under that country's tighter anti-porn laws was a consensual lesbian SM publication. Here in the UK, our anti-porn laws were used successfully in the 1980s to prevent explicit safer sex advice to combat HIV. Even in the case of depictions of sexual violence and degradation, most of it involves consensual SM fantasy and roleplay, where two or more adults commit sexual acts with mutual agreement, and where no one experiences any lasting physical harm. Criminalizing such behavior violates the right to privacy, individual liberty, and personal autonomy. To deny mutually consenting adults the right to personal private space and the right to make decisions about their own bodies has more than a whiff of authoritarianism. For these reasons, abusive images produced by consenting participants who act out extreme SM fantasies should not be banned, although there may be a case for discouraging and campaigning against them on the grounds that a minority of disordered people might be unable to distinguish between fantasy and reality and may come to view such abuse as normal and valid to the detriment of their partners. Any opposition to consensual sexual violence and humiliation is based on many ifs and maybes, and it seems unfair to penalize the majority of mature, responsible SM lovers on the grounds of what an aberrant minority of viewers of this extreme imagery might do subsequently. And just reading one more part here, headed Emulation in Real Life. Critics say that abusive pornography encourages emulation in real life. Apart from a handful of disputed individual cases, this claim is not supported by empirical evidence. There is no research to show that degrading porn generally or significantly causes copycat behavior. While it may reflect the desires of a tiny number of disordered people, it does not create these desires. Some defenders of oppressive sex imagery suggest that it might sometimes act as a safety valve for the small minority of people who do harbour violent and abusive sexual fantasies. If this is true, and I suspect that it may be true in some cases, then extreme porn could provide a non-harmful outlet and have a positive social value, in that it helps reduce real-life sexual violence and abuse. Even if a connection were established between porn and a few cases of actual abuse, this would not justify a ban. We cannot legislate for the whole of society on the basis of what a tiny, dysfunctional minority might do. Otherwise, we would ban cars on the grounds that some people drive recklessly, cause accidents, and kill people. End quote. Again, if you want to check out the whole piece, visit www.redpepper.org.uk. Well worth a look. Until next time, folks, take it easy and take care of yourselves. Peace.